Just that little bit extra attention to put on Graham Paddon. No trouble. And that surely must take a tremendous amount of pressure off this Norwich City side. Now Paddon with a chance to set it up on his left foot. Getting hold of it in the end. Can he get it away? Oh, a good opening.
Paddon in a position to let one go, which he does well. Oh, what a goal by Graham Paddon.
Graham Paddon scored on his 1-1 draw.
Paddon picks the loose one up. Players going over to the far post again, racing away. And it's a good one. A fine header. And swinging away from the goalkeeper. And an error at the back.
Really got hold of that with his left foot, which of course is his favourite foot.
My dad, Graham Paddon, was a professional footballer and coach. His career spanned over 20 years. In 2007, he passed away due to alcohol poisoning, and I guess that's why I never really got to know him.
What is your earliest memory of your dad?
My earliest memory of Dad?
He was always there, always at your birthday parties.
He certainly made his presence felt when he walked in a room, that's a sure bet. Very humble, never had any ego or anything, so he slotted into our club really well because he was popular, easy to get on with, good sense of humour.
So you looked up to him then?
Definitely top good player he was, but as a coach and a person, then he was terrific for me, he really was. I really learnt an awful lot from him.
My dad was a god to me because I was a massive West Ham United fan.
We always went out on Sundays, every Sunday without fail. We went out, normally to a pub or friends, or, all of us together. Just happy family times. We had great times. Money wasn't a problem, so we had, lovely times out, lovely holidays. It was a really good life, Heather.
I only know what I've been told, really. My earliest memory of my dad is probably going to visit him in Norwich after Mum and Dad had split up, and he was living in a Green Farm caravan park in Scrappy. I had little contact with him when I was growing up. My parents separated when I was 5. I needed to go on this journey to find out more about the man he was. I never got the chance to ask him myself. I'm nervous and unsure about where this will take me.
I remember the first time he called my name out in the pub, which was quite nice. And we never left each other's sides after that, really.
Oh, they're covered.
It was one of our first holidays in Marbella. When the season finished, you'd go for 3 weeks. That was the one that we met Dougie and Alan were on.
They had split for a number of years before he passed away. But Mum always said if the drinking had never started, they could be together now. I needed her support on this journey, although I felt guilty for making her relive these memories. In 1975, my dad won the FA Cup final with West Ham United at Wembley. I've grown up with this image on my wall and realised that my next step would be to contact his teammates. I had arranged to meet Sir Trevor Brooking.
Crowds with the banners and now with the teams, where everything is set now for this All-London Cup final between Fulham and West Ham. Graham Paddon there and Frank...
That team is the last all-English team to win the FA Cup final. you know, to play an FA Cup final is something that does never leave you. So I'm sure, you know, just winning that particular game and playing here at Wembley, and where all as younger people have seen big cup finals, it's a great occasion. So it is something to look back on, and it's special, yeah.
So you were at the club when Dad started then? Were you already there?
Yeah, Graham came and, as I say, slotted into the way we wanted to play. Didn't have any sort of niggles or attitude. I mean, he was a really popular member of the squad.
I heard about the European matches, and obviously was it the first leg when Dad scored the only goal?
Yeah, semi-final, big one.
Interesting for West Ham at the moment. They've got a 3-2 advantage. Defence coming back now, though. Brooking, Paddon in a position to let one go, which he does well. Oh, what a goal by Graham Paddon! Really got hold of that with his left foot, which of course is his favourite foot.
Yeah, I think if he'd looked back, he really enjoyed his time at the club, and sometimes then it's time to move on and whatever. And we had some good spells.
As I learn more about him, I become more frustrated that I never got to know the man he was. Hearing old stories and memories reinforces my admiration for him and everything that he achieved.
I was in Coventry's first team at 18 and I played a few games, and they said, well, Norwich fancy you, do you want to go? And I was shocked. I said, you mean you want to sell me? So they said, well, we'd like you to consider it. So I said, where is it? And they said, Norwich. And that's when I said, well, where's that? You know what I mean? Because it was off the beaten track, really, so to speak.
Norwich City was a huge part of my dad's life and career. I visited the football club to learn more about his time there, as a part of one of the most successful sides in the club's history.
A much vaunted midfield. Swashbuckling, a mean left foot from any distance, he was another with First Division pedigree. And up front, signed from Reading.
Oh my God! 37 goals, 340 appearances. Is that number 10?
There he is, Graham. It's your dad on there.
There he is. That's his signature
There
as
he
well.
is.
So he's signed that too. And Doug's there. Paddon power.
Paddon power. Best ever seen start thanks to Paddon power. A glorious goal from Graham Paddon. There you go. So it was genuinely one of the good players in that team. Very highly thought of.
Wow, this is amazing. I didn't realise how popular he was really until I went to the club.
Well, he was popular with all the Norwich City guys that he played with. Great respect as a player, and respected by the opposition as well, by the way, big time. Big time. The opposition, they knew that they had to try and stop Graham to stop us. You've read about it, and I'll never ever forget the quarter-final of the League Cup when Graham scored the 3 goals. That was amazing, unbelievable. To do that at Arsenal, at Highbury, was absolutely amazing. But he just took it all in his stride, Was it like he was happy, like we all were happy. We were all hugging
But
each other.
he would have been the one that weren't bouncing around. You could have a laugh with your dad, but I can't say that he was the sort of guy that you would pull a fast one on or a joke on. He just weren't that sort of guy. He'd just look at it as though you were stupid, and in a nice way. I mean, you could pull loads of stunts on a lot of the players that were at Norwich and at Cardiff when I was at Cardiff, but your dad just weren't one of them. You wouldn't dream of doing it,
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
No, he was great company, and he's a great mate of ours, always will be. But regarding him like being outrageous, it wasn't Graham. We used to run up a hill in Norwich. It was that mouse hole, Steve, wasn't it?
with weights in our hands.
Oh.
You used to have weights in your hands. It was, in all fairness, it was barbaric.
In all fairness, I mean, that was one of the reasons that we did get promotion, because we weren't the greatest talented team, although we did have a lot of talent. But our fitness was far superior to anybody else in the league. And I remember playing against Stoke one year, and they said, well, we can't play against this because you keep on running.
There's Ron Saunders going to hit the two of us with his stick.
I don't think so, Dougie. I think you know that you two are his blue-eyed boys, and
oh, hello.
That's a fact.
Well, he did buy us, like, and he had to look after us, like. Yeah. But your dad was like, he was great. And when I used to talk to him about the lads at Portsmouth that he was helping to develop and all that, he couldn't understand people criticising his players.
Portsmouth was where my dad began his career in coaching after retiring from the game. Starting as a youth team coach, he went on to become assistant manager. After many years at the club, my dad left and unfortunately never returned to football. I was apprehensive about what I would discover here.
I came to the club as a youth team player, and Graham was the youth team coach. So he was there every day. So there was no getting away, and he was very thorough in what he did. In terms of a coach, absolutely top draw. I'm not just saying that because you're stood there. He was very, very good. And in those early days, as a young footballer, you're like a sponge and you're wanting to know everything. And Graham gave me so much.
They've taken a lot of what your dad taught them into what they now are teaching into the young kids at this football club. So his legacy still goes on.
How old were you when you were in the youth team?
16.
16, exactly, and he passed when I was 16, so it's like
yeah.
he sort of gave you that
Yeah.
discipline and stuff that I never really got to have.
Yeah, he instilled that in us, so that later on in first team world, you have that discipline. And I still have things I learned from your dad from discipline. I'm still instilling now into the young boys, doing his job now.
You come back and hearing that you were going to come in and do this doc, brought back memories, and it just reminded me of just what a quite unassuming guy he was. And he never got the recognition I feel that he really deserved. On the footballing side, I mean, I was lucky enough to have seen him play at West Ham and stuff like that. But in his coaching, possibly I don't think people recognise what a good coach he was as well.
I think he got a bit of a raw deal here, if I'm honest. When Jim left, there was change here with other people coming in, and I don't think your dad's face fitted for whatever reason. Football's like that.
Yeah.
It's not all about how good you are at your job. Sometimes it's about, does your face fit? And unfortunately it didn't.
That's football. Problem is, it's a stop-start business. You know, you lose one job and you can be out of a job for a long time. I think it's very difficult for some people to take. You know, there's a fine balance between, you know, because you have been. You see, I think looking at it, because you are so influential at times with things, when that stops, it's a difficult situation.
When you're here, you're a somebody. That's really important. You are a somebody, you're a focal point. And when that's taken away from you, and it can be, you can be here 1 minute from driving out the gates, and that's it. And there might not be another way back in unless you know somebody. And that's, you know, unless you get very lucky, it can be a very lonely place to come away from football. And you've been in it so long. I mean, Graham probably was in it from when he was playing as a young boy into 16 and through.
So, when you found out that he'd passed away, how did that affect you, do you think?
It was awful, really, because there was 3 people that I probably learnt off in the early days of my football career. Alan Ball, Peter Osgood, and your dad. And they're no longer here, and they sort of all passed away within a real short space of time. So it wasn't a nice period, and when I heard that your father had passed away, it was hard to take because I was close with him when I was here. If I needed somebody to go and talk to, even when I got through into the first team, because I'd been with him at youth team level, we'd had that attachment. He was the one I trusted to go and talk to. So I was very close with Graham, and even after he left Portsmouth.
With Dad's drinking, did you ever notice anything like that?
We were in a drinking culture, so it was something that was socially acceptable that players after a game it was rather than now you get on the bus and there's a protein shake and this. We got on the bus with fish and chips and as many beers as we could drink on the way home. Everyone has their own, I suppose, different ways of dealing with things, and some people take solace in the bottle and the drink, some can handle it in a different way.
Portsmouth gave me the answers that I needed to understand how his career ended, and how the effects of that may have contributed to the difficulties that he later faced. The first place I visited had to be Green Farm Caravan Park. When I was a kid, it was amazing that he lived on this holiday park with a swimming pool and an arcade. That was awesome. So to go back and have those illusions thrown out the window and slapped in the face by reality, to see that he'd gone from having everything to living there, alone, that was pretty shocking. Dear Heather, I've enclosed my address so as you can write to me with all your news. Hope things are going well for you at home and school. Things are still going okay here, although sometimes it's lonely, as there isn't much to do. The apartment is nice, but a bit too big for me. You could have a great sleepover here, with satellite TV, DVDs, CDs there, and radio that is tuned into Capital FM. Still waiting for the grass to be cut. They're getting a gardener to come in. A lot of little lizards here. Sometimes they get into the house. I think they're called geckos. Harmless, thank God. Anyway, Hetty, lots of love. Always miss you and thinking of you. I now have an image of my dad and memories that I longed for. I'm so proud of the wonderful man that he was. I just wonder if the drinking had stopped, where we would be today.
There she is, Heather Jane, 2 days old. No, you're not going to suffer thumbs. Now we'd better go and interview Mr. Paddon, the proud father. Now, very camera shy, he's very camera shy.
The flowers and I'm doing the washing on.
Good, that's it then. We'll call you.
It's a new cabaret star.
And
Madonna, new Madonna.
It's a girl and love for you.
No, come and take one.
Fantastic.